So as I asked you backstage, and I will ask you again for the benefit of our audience, but I think what's really comes down to the most important question of all, and that is, how the hell did you get Robert Redford to play you in a movie? For God's sakes.
Well, to say the least, I was pleased when they chose Robert Redford to play the role. Who would not have been pleased to have one of the great actors of this or any other generation, as you are yourself, to play one in a role? But it's a surreal experience, and I'm still trying to process it.
Now, when the film was conceived and they started the film, did they come to you early on? Were you involved and talked to them from the beginning?
Well, I've not been involved with the film very much, but when Brad Fisher and Jamie Vanderbilt eventually wrote and directed the film, early on they came to me and said that they had bought an option on Mary Major's book and that they intended to make a movie. I did not say to them, but I did sort of say to myself, I'm more likely to become the Pope of Rome than they are to get this movie made. I never thought they'd get the movie made, but they came and visited with me and asked me about Mary's book, whether it was accurate, and I told them it was accurate. I didn't hear anything for a long while, and over the years, this movie has been, I would say, roughly 6 years in the making. From time to time, I would hear from Mary or perhaps Brad Fisher, the producer, that a certain movie actress was looking at a script. But still, I said to myself, this movie's not going to get made. But lo and behold, when Kate Blanchett and Robert Redford accepted the roles in the film, at that point I became convinced and said, you know what, I think they've got a chance to make it.
Now, before we talk about some of the details and some of the questions involving the film and Mary and your career then and Killian and all that stuff, the subject of the film, I want to go back even further and say that you enlisted in the Marine Corps when you were young, and you got discharged because you had rheumatic fever, correct?
That's true. I'm a child of the Depression years in World War II. And when the Korean War came, I know this sounds strange in today's environment more than 50 years later, but my country was at war and I wanted to fight. I was 4F because I had rheumatic fever when I was a child, which was a so-called disqualifying disease. I'm not proud of it, but when it came down to with Marines, when I told them I didn't have any disqualifying diseases. But I had one of the shortest and least distinguished records in the whole history of the United States Marine Corps, because they eventually found out. And so I was in the Marines for a short time. I didn't see combat. I saw nothing to Southern California. But I've always been glad for the time I was in. I think I learned, Alec, more perhaps in the short time I was in the Marines than any other such period in my life. That one of the
For example?
One of the things that the Marines teach you is you can do a whole lot more than you think you can do. But at any rate, suffice to say that I wasn't in for very long, didn't do very much when I was in there. The most I can say is I volunteered to go.
But did a